Hello, welcome back to the Pedal Progressions podcast, where progression is the obsession. We are chilling, literally, in the Vi13 studio here in the back room of Vi13, where it has stayed nice and cool on this great 80-degree day. We are eating some amazing meat sticks from the grilling company. Make sure you check out that Keith Hall live stream we did. It's pretty sweet. We unfortunately are not drinking any Good Medicine coffee right now, mainly because we're not coffee drinkers, but I hear it's freaking amazing. Craig, you're a coffee drinker.
I'm a coffee drinker.
2 thumbs up.
And I can confirm that, I forget which blend, but he's out in some kind of coffee convention. San Diego.
What's that in Spanish?
I don't know.
Agree to disagree.
I'm joined with Kellen Johnson and Craig Frazee, and a guest to be named later by Kellen. And I'm Brian Zajac, and I'd like to bring up our other sponsors, starting with 8th Day Gym downtown by the amphitheater. Awesome place to go. We've had 2 terrible workouts this week, and my legs are completely shot, and I felt it on the trail today. It's pretty hard, but it was awesome at the same time. Congrats to Alyssa, who got 3rd in the world at her first Elite 15 High Rocks thing, and has a chance to win the World Championships in Sweden coming up. We also had a couple other teams qualify for Worlds out of the gym. Plus, one of my coaches, Dylan Hamming, also is in California this week trying to qualify for Worlds for CrossFit. So it's a high level of athlete in the gym. You should come down, check it out, do a class with me. There's drop-ins. There's a free week if you want to get all of your training for a race in 1 week. Just come do the free week, and by the end of it, you'll be ripped. Promise. Also, KOM Cycling. I saw a lot of their gear at the Barry Roubaix with Kellen. When we weren't freezing, we were talking to friends and looking at cool stuff, and it was a good time. It was really cool for everyone that came up and talked to us and reached out. It was a really good day, despite shivering and having to go pee.
I was sore from shivering so much.
Yeah, my shoulders were sore from clenching.
I really enjoyed all the pictures of the bikes and the people covered in sand.
Oh, yeah.
It looked gnarly.
Golf 616 in Comstock Park. Big event that Craig will tell you about coming up. I'm really excited about it. I hope we have a lot of people there, and I hope everyone is about as good as me so I don't look shitty.
It's a simulator, so you're not going to kill anyone. Well, maybe. We can't guarantee it, but it's safe. Even if you suck at golf, he's got rental clubs there. I think he'll probably just set them out for us. So even if you don't have clubs,
stop by, grab a drink at least. They're reasonable prices. There's food there. Come heckle us. We enjoy getting made fun of. I'm hoping enough people come that I really don't have to golf very much because I am that bad. But it will be a good time. John made this place awesome. Like, Golf 616, if you haven't been there, is a great place to go and swing the clubs. If it's super hot, if it's super cold, if it's nighttime, all those things. It's great.
And we're just going to jump into that one. So that's April 30th.
I got one more sponsor.
Okay. You handed me the notebook.
I did, because I remember, because I'm on the board of the other nonprofit. That's the sponsor.
You got that one in the memory banks, yeah.
The Building Blocks Foundation, Inc.org. The summer scholarship program is coming up. We've raised a ton of money, and we will be passing out a ton of scholarships this year. It's been amazing how much this program has grown and how many more kids will be able to help this summer. And then at the end of the summer, we'll have our golf outing. So come to 616, practice with us, and then you can sign up for the real golf outing and raise some money to help get more kids through it.
That's just the one where you got to chase the balls, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Or you just hit it and forget it and just move on because it's a scramble.
Mulligan, go.
So, Building Blocks Foundation, Inc.org. Check out the website. Check out the mission statement. Helping kids is great. And Craig, why don't you tell us about all the events?
All right, deep breath. Here we go. April 25th, Yankee Time Trial. It's the next event coming up, and it's the biggest fundraiser of the year for the West Michigan Mountain Bike Alliance. Notice how I didn't say association. I screwed that up about 50% of the time. So definitely come out. You might still be able to grab an entry. I'm not sure if the race is completely full or not.
It is not.
It is not. So
And there's been a big push because there's only like 59 women that have signed up. So Pam Collins has really headed up sharing that with some of the other awesome ladies in the area. Let's get as many people in there. Let's get as many women in there. It's an awesome fundraiser. Sorry, I cut you off.
Go sign up. No, it was on brand. April 29th, we've got a bit of a change to one of our live streams that was coming up. So originally we were going to have Matt from Stewards of Stoke on. He has got an open slot for a surgery and took it. That's probably too much information, but we're live, so it
HIPAA.
already happened.
Yeah. HIPAA's not a thing yet.
Long story short, we had to make some changes. On a side note, Jamie from Torque MTB, we just had him on our live stream, our most recent episode. He is actually going to be on the Stewards of Stoke podcast coming up this week.
Those guys are, they'll edit it, so it might take a little bit, but they're very similar to us in just love for the sport and community and trying to really bring people into the sport. So I recommend the Stewards of Stoke podcast. Hopefully they'll recommend us too.
And speaking of mountain bike related and cycling related podcasts, on the 29th at 7:30 p.m., instead of the Stewards of Stoke, we're going to have on Trevor from the Dirty Chain podcast. So had him on before, had a blast. Brian, I think you went on his podcast.
And so did
as well.
Andy.
And man,
You got to get on that, man.
I know. What am I doing? Trevor, reach out.
And the dude he started the Dirty Chain podcast with, Sheldon, moved back, and he's coming in studio as well. So there'll be 5 of us in here.
Please tell me he brings that Belgian Malinois in here. That'll be a wild. You got to live stream it too. That will be.
It will be a
wild.
live stream.
We'll hide some nefarious substances around in the dogs.
He
Sniff 'em
races.
out.
You should do this. He races bikes with the dog hooked up to the front, and it pulls him.
Oh, I've seen that. It's kind of got that little spring
Yeah,
to
yep.
take up the slack.
He's doing like 26 miles an hour, and the dog is pulling away. Like that whole leash is like taut.
He's real into it.
My dog would kill me. Let's just say Belgian Malinois, discipline, really good. My idiot dog Trek, squirrel. A deer went by, dead in a creek. All right, we're taking forever to get through these events, but they are still important. So make sure you keep listening. March 30th.
May.
Sorry, May.
March a long way away.
That's a
May 13th.
All right. That is sure a 4-looking 5 if I've ever seen one. But Brian writes these for me because I always show up at the last second, so I appreciate it. We've got 513 Tower Hill Trail Center live stream. What do we know about them?
They invited me to go check out their downhill park that they built. It's a shuttle service area just south of Pittsburgh, so 6 hours away. Shuttle and enduro mountain bike stuff. So I will be down there at the first week of May to check it out, and then we will have them on the 13th, and we will talk about how they turned their dreams into side hustle and built a mountain bike park.
They're living the dream, truly. And last but not least, we have on May 20th, Kelly Hazelgroove. She is an amazing women's mountain bike instructor.
The best.
Okay. Very cool. Based out of Michigan, I assume. West Michigan? Virginia. So that'll be another live stream, I assume.
Yep, and her husband own an awesome bike shop in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Sweet. May 30th. Golf.
Oh.
Golf 616. Show up, 6:30. We have 3 bays available, totally free. You just buy some beer at the location, come take some hacks, stay as long as you want. Please come out. It should be super fun.
That's next Thursday. So if you're listening to this later, remember that 4:30 is next week.
Wait. Okay, 4:30. That was the worst I've ever done. I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize. Kellen, where can people find our social media? Take me out back. Put a bullet in my head.
You can find us on Instagram at pedal_progressions_podcast. The link in the description will get you to our merch store. Anything you buy from there goes right back into the podcast, makes it better. We love seeing everything on you. Appreciate anything you buy. You can also email the show at pedalprogressions@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you with suggestions for guests. Just call us names, whatever you want. Send it to us. We love seeing it all.
This is a suggested guest, by the way.
Yeah. Was it through the email?
No, it was from Gary.
Oh, well. Utilize that email too.
I guess he appreciates me wearing his kit.
Also, remember to like and subscribe to the podcast. That really helps us out. Smash that like button. Do all the other stupid things.
This video, like the damn video.
Yeah.
We say it. 4 people like it. 300 people watch it. So I don't know how that ratio works, but just click the frickin' thumbs up, please, for the love of God.
It does help us a lot. As dumb as it is, and I hate saying it, it does help us a lot. So please like, subscribe. Then, without further ado, well, I take it back.
A little bit of ado.
I always screw this up here. After the break, the quick intro.
Who do we have?
We'll be back.
Who
with
do we have?
Andy Rohrer.
I've been practicing my rolling my R's. Just
Roll your R's.
Yeah.
Just hit the button. Get us out of this.
Okay. And the mic's still live.
Much about the golf event. I was going to do that first. Well, shit, I'm bitten by the live stream bug again.
So, Andy, I met you like 10 minutes ago. I know nothing about you. Tell me about you. What got you into biking? What bikes do you ride? Give me the quick pitch on Andy.
Life story. We're going to sit here and chill.
I was born in West Michigan. I was actually born at Butterworth Hospital before it was taken over by a massive, huge medical conglomerate.
I was too.
Yeah. Grew up in Sparta. Lived there for about 15 years. Moved to Jackson. Went to college at Spring Arbor College. Now university. They grew up. Shout out Cougars. It's always weird. Cougars. Sorry, we'll just leave that one alone. It's Kitty, it just purrs. And then I joined the Army because I didn't know what to do with my life. Mm-hmm. And that was in 1999. And last summer I came home. So I was only supposed to be in the Army for 4 years. And
Yeah.
they were like, hey, what do you think about jumping out of an airplane? I don't really think about it. And they're like, we'll give you $150. And I was like, really? So I got an extra $150 a month to jump out of an airplane. It sounds cool. It's
Just
not.
$150 a month?
Yeah, a month.
Oh,
Well, on top of my pay.
Oh, well,
Yeah. So anyway, I did that for 26 years, did some other things in the Army, and moved home, retired last year, moved home, and I became the executive director of the League of Michigan Bicyclists. This job was open. They needed they were going through a transition, some change, and a friend of mine who's in the scene here in Grand Rapids said, hey, you should check this out. You might be perfect for it. I applied, and here we are. I'm the executive director of the League of Michigan Bicyclists.
nice.
Oh, bikes. What do I ride?
Yeah.
Pretty much anything with 2 wheels. I'm not a unicyclist because, it falls in the bicycle category, but they're always a wheel short.
It's a cycle. It ain't a bicycle.
A cycle.
It's a unicycle.
2 unicycles makes a bicycle, right? I just did math right there in public. Better not hit that. Yeah, pretty much mostly road and gravel. I did start on mountain bikes. As a matter of fact, the first mountain, like actual ripping mountain bike trail I kind of ever rode on was Cannonsburg State Game Area back in the late 90s. I think that was before it was officially allowed. It was kind of like the DNR would turn a blind eye, and they were pretty much like, take care of it, it's okay.
As long as nobody gets shot out there, you can keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, well, nobody told me that. I was just out there ripping around with my buddy Tim Scott. And, we just rip around out there, and it was a riot. It was fun. You go in the middle of the day, you take off lunch, and you go do a lap and go back to work. And so kind of mountain biking. Actually, the last mountain bike I had was a 26-inch. This is how long ago it was. It was a 26-inch Schwinn S20. I think maybe later we're going to talk about an incident that occurred with that bike. Since then, I kind of graduated into road bikes and gravel bikes, and along with higher paying a larger salary over time, I could start to afford better bikes.
He was
or
on a pretty
expensive
fancy bike
bikes.
today. It was like custom wrapped Epic today.
That actually
Paint?
was a 2023. Because it was a 2023 frame. I found it on the internet. A guy in Florida had it. A shop in Florida had it, and he was blowing it out like literally half price. It was just the frame set. And
You
I
made
was
up
like,
with it with the XTR electric shifting and the XX1 power meter.
Yeah, well, okay. So I have it's not really mullet, but I got a mixed up drivetrain for sure.
It worked good today.
It works fine. There's no issues with it other than I tried to keep hooking up that power meter. I finally figured it out, by the way, after you left. I got it connected. Yeah, great bike. Life's too short to ride crap bikes, they say. So I haven't ridden a crap bike by choice in a long time. Other than you
have a Specialized.
rent a bike.
I'm just saying.
At least it's not me. I have a Cannondale, and normally Brian turns his "those bikes are shit" comments on me. So I'm happy. He's got 2 Specialized guys here. Go ahead.
Did you see on the chat there in front of you that I believe that's Justin, I assume, said that you should do the Taco Bell 100 with us. And also you had a hello from the Texas League of...
From Casco Husker?
Queso Husker.
Is that LTB?
That is no, it says LMB.
Is it still LMB?
So it is LMB, the League of Michigan Bicyclists. We're not changing our name.
In Texas?
No.
How does that work?
Well, he's an Army buddy of mine. And, so he's an Army buddy of mine, and he actually purchased a membership in the League of Michigan Bicyclists. We are a nonprofit, but we do depend upon the generosity of others in order to do our work. As you will know, being on the board of a nonprofit. And when I got hired, he was like, "How do I become a member?" I was like, "Go to lmb.org." And next thing you know, he was a member, and he's been a supporter, and he is an avid cyclist as well. Shout out to Paul. He actually used to be a Specialized fanboy, and then he kind of went through some changes in his life.
He's not a dentist anymore?
No, he was never a dentist. Pretty sure. Paul, were you a dentist? You can put that in the chat. I'm pretty sure you were never a dentist. What he was an Orsi. He does math in public. But I got him back on a double triangle. He had, as happens to a lot of us in the military, we end up getting injuries, and he kind of got a little bit screwed up, messed up a leg, and had moved on to trikes. And finally, he told me like a year ago, he says, "I can't do this anymore. I have no self-respect. I have to ride a double triangle bike again." I was like, "Oh, you should get a Specialized Diverge. A gravel bike is absolutely the best way to go." And so I told him about his Lord and Savior, the gravel bike, and now he's rocking a gravel bike.
Kellen's looking at gravel bikes now.
Well, first, Queso Hunter is still a fanboy.
Well, I think he's definitely beyond that.
I'd like to point out that we have one like, and one I know Kellen is watching and did not hit the like button.
Wait a second.
He works here.
And so Justin says I should do the Taco Bell Sentry. All transparency, I did download the route. And I'm like,
checked it out, and there was a mistake on it. I'm glad I checked it out last week because.
But so I didn't actually download it. I just favorited it. So if you updated it, it's gonna be legit for me.
Yep,
so it's good.
Yep, it's still. I updated it and it fixed it. I figured out how to do that.
But I got to figure out. I think you're doing that on May 2nd, right?
May 3rd, day after Mud, Sweat, and Beers.
Oh.
Because I have to be at Mud, Sweat, and Beers because I'm helping out Mark Deering with some stuff.
I'm going to be there, and you can laugh at me. Maybe I'll come out to the Taco Bell Century because I'm going to be in massive need of nutrition.
Yeah. Well, these guys, Kellen for sure has said that he's going to give it a shot. He's never ridden a gravel bike. Greg's trying to figure out a second battery for his e-bike.
If anybody has a Bosch compatible battery that I can put in a backpack or at a Taco Bell, we'll hide it in the bathroom.
Just bring a charger and plug it in at all the Taco Bells.
The annoying thing is that your e-bike cuts out at 19 and a half, and we're going to... the gravel bikes will pull away on the downs and with the wind, which is annoying.
And then we hit those ramps, and he's going to be like...
I'm used to it from a janky Zwift setup.
You don't need a second battery though. All you do is just put the thing in eco mode as low as it goes. You'll still get. You're gonna have to work harder to get up there.
You're counting on my fitness to come in and save me, and it isn't saving
Dude, I
me.
watched you walk in here. You're a svelte dude. You got this.
Look at these cannons.
Look at that.
All right,
Pedal with your arms.
it's a double unicycle then.
You could do the Superman. Just get on the saddle and just grab those cranks. And
I was just
sorry, that looked weird under the table. I'm not doing that again.
Like, you can't see under the table. See? Look at.
So, has anybody pulled a little Harbor Freight generator in a wagon behind their e-bike? Do you think that might work? Just leave it plugged in?
The solar power thing? Courtney's got one for a laptop.
I think I'll just Uber to every Taco Bell and wait for you guys to get there.
Or why don't you start in Greenville?
We'll see.
I could draft off you. That would be nice.
We'll see. I don't have a bike for it.
There's a pretty good mix of people going, which I'm pretty happy about. Because like a 14 mile an hour pace in a group, I feel like is pretty reasonable, if not on the slow side. So there's enough strong people. I think we'll be able to pull some peeps with us. And it's the main thing is the people that aren't as fast need to be comfortable riding on someone's back wheel. I feel like that's where the loss is. And then never, ever, ever, for the love of God, do not take a turn at the front. Let the people that are stronger just take the turns over and over and over again, and you'll be fine.
I will also offer something I've just I lived in Europe for a long time, and so I spent my last 5 years in the Army. I was in Belgium, and Belgians are some serious cyclists. There is not a
Wout, woo,
yeah
winner of the Paris-Roubaix.
and Mathieu, not a winner because apparently he burped his tires because he was running at the bare minimum air pressure. That's what happened to him. Yeah, he burped both tires simultaneously. His tires were not slashed. But Belgians don't do there's no like half measure in cycling. Like they have these cycling clubs and they join them all because in Belgium you can't ride on the road if there's a path next to the road unless you're in a group of 10 or more. So they naturally all join cycling clubs and then they all get together and there was a dude in our club that's 60 years old and he would take a turn at the front and he'd pull 300 watts. It was insane. Absolutely insane, right? I mean, okay, it's not pro level, but for
300 watts is a lot.
Amateurs and enthusiasts, and he's 60 years old and it was insane. And he would always say, he goes, okay, no, you take your turn. He'd be up there and he'd do 30 seconds and, they would always rotate. And then I came back and what I've discovered is that we don't do a lot of that here where people, like you were just saying, don't take a turn at the front if you're not the strongest. It's okay to hide out in the back. It's okay to use the draft. But people that take a turn at the front, I mean, I've ridden multiple gravel races back here in Michigan where you're supposed to be working with somebody and they'll get out there and they will literally ride until they're dead. And it's like, dude, do 40 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute most, and then rotate off and let people take turns. And then the problem is you get in a group of 10 and 3 people do all the pulls.
That's not a problem. Like
well, it's not for the guy in the back that comes in and then he beats you all over the finish line because he's fresh.
Well, I ride with a lot of like the Rogue Elite guys, and I know that I'm gonna eventually get dropped, and it's just a matter of each week for me. It's been like a cat and mouse game of like trying to stay there longer and not just sit in the back and like take my turns and eat my humble pie. Because on a mountain bike, I'm pretty quick, so I can do things on a mountain bike. But on the gravel bike, it's a whole new world. Like between Ed and Justin there and a couple of the other guys, Nick Hammer, Mike Seagard, they can make me look real silly real fast on a gravel bike. I can hang with them for about 14 miles, and then it's like I take too long of a pull, and then I choke on my own lungs, and I fall off the back, and I end up between groups by myself or with Jackson.
So, I mean, what you're describing is really common. I mean, I've watched this with people who tend to be just mountain bike, or they've spent lots and lots of time on a mountain bike, and they migrate to gravel because it's very similar, right? I mean, you're dealing with a loose surface, you're dealing with surface that can be unpredictable, and the bike handling skills that mountain bikers bring to gravel is amazing because you watch them. Like I've watched people, I can tell, like when you're going up Sager Road on Barrie, you could absolutely tell in 10 seconds who in front of you is the mountain biker and who is the roadie that came to gravel, right? Because it's kind of like gravel. Everybody just migrates there. The mountain bikers have amazing bike handling skills, and they have like serious punch. Like when you hit that first part of Sager and you go up that, what is it? It's 10% for maybe 150 feet, 200 feet, and you watch them and they just sail away. Like it's just their legs just know what to do. And you watch the roadies and they're not as good on something like Sager, but then they get out on some of the other roads, like where they're much smoother and then they just destroy everybody because they have that kind of that background. They know how to, most of them, especially ones that have been on racing teams, they know how to work together with each other. And so it's really interesting in the gravel world to see how that works out. So I would say don't feel bad. What you're bringing to the gravel scene is amazing bike handling skills and a punch that everybody else wishes they had. So
How much does line choice play a factor in a gravel race like Barry or, name another one? Like recognizing if you're on a slower surface and there's a better one over there, or you're
Kind
on
of
a
a lot.
descent and you're picking your way down a hill. Very curious.
I think it's kind of more than you'd think, especially for Sager, where you're talking
does
about.
matter. So Sager, like when you're talking 2 tracks and even some of these single track, or the name of the road always slips my mind. Shaw, I think it's the trail, the one that's just nothing but sand for like 3 miles.
I think that's the 100-mile course, though.
It's on the 100-mile course. You can pick a line in sand, and it will really matter, right? Sand is just it's a power suck. When you're on and in Michigan gravel roads, by the way, I will tell you that having ridden gravel roads, lots of places in the world, the only place that has smoother gravel roads are the forests in Germany. It's like literally riding on pristine pavement, but they're gravel, and the line choice doesn't really matter there. I think here in Michigan, in my experience, line choice matters most when you're going through the turns, because you hit those intersections and the way the gravel will pile up in the side, it piles up in the side of the intersection. If you hit that and it's still really loose and you're cranked over and hammering, like it's going to get loosey for a second. And if you don't have confidence in your tires, you don't have confidence in your equipment, I mean, that's where people go down. That's one of the places they'll go down. I think it matters too when you get out on the sides of the road, because through the summer, a lot of the loose gravel pushes off to the sides. I don't think it matters as much in the middle, because even where you see the tire tracks have packed down and compacted the road, and you have usually 3 of them on the road, because most of us put our left side tire right in the middle of the road unless there's something coming. If you get in between the tire tracks, it's a small amount of gravel, and it doesn't
I'd say
really
the
matter.
shutter bumps is the other thing. As the year goes on, like this time of year, the shutter bumps aren't terrible, but as
Call that a washboard. If you grew up in the country, maybe your grandma had one of those to wash your clothes.
dude, I've ridden gravel for like a month.
And all I know is braking bumps. So
It's like that, but almost worse. It's
So that is a very funny riding on washboards or shutter bumps.
it's
is
this
a
hand
lot-
signal.
It's a lot like
when I'm in front, I do that. to
there's-
people
well,
behind me.
There's hand signals?
Oh yeah, big time.
people appreciate that, or pointing out where there's all of a sudden you
Potholes?
can see like a huge pothole, or there's like this pile of really obviously loose gravel, like pointed out, so somebody that's behind, 2 wheels behind, and they can't really see what's in front because they're just looking around. Let them know that they're about to hit really loose gravel.
There's hands like if there's like a dog walker, you'll like push over. Like there's a car on the side of the road, you'll like show that you need to move to a side or the other, but just hand signals. Like you don't necessarily talk because of the wind. There's like it's a little stressful when you're new. Not gonna lie.
But that's roadie etiquette. That comes from asphalt and pavement.
I had no idea there's hand signals.
Tight pants and hand signals.
That's right.
It's like a village
like-
person concert.
That's right.
How did your Barry that go this year? How we saw you. I yelled at you. Like I don't know if
I
you heard
you.
me.
I did.
Yep.
I wasn't sure who it was, but I heard somebody call out.
You went past me, and I like it registered as you were passing. So it's like, oh no.
No, I mean, it was right there on top of 3. You were on top of the
Yeah.
third sister.
It was a little bit past that actually, because we were late getting there, so it was in between. It was after you
You
passed
were in
the
that.
drum.
You were in the little dip. Okay, I got it. So it's after the drums, and you were after the dip. I just remember somebody calling out my name, and then somebody else called out, and I think it might have been Jenny Acker at the finish. I heard her. I thought she called my name because then she posted a video.
I was shivering, so it would have been like.
you wouldn't have rolled your R very well.
and then you just sounded like a cougar, a happy cougar. Yeah, I mean, Barry went well. I mean, one of my teammates was the overall winner of the 36. I was a lot of minutes behind Nolan Vandersweg. I was a lot of minutes behind him. I think it was like 2:11. You know, I mean, I'm in the older guy category, 52 to 54. I mean, 12 out of 112, I think is what my final standing was. That's respectable, I think. I don't know where I was in the overall. I didn't really pay attention. I was probably somewhere around 200 or 300 or something like that. But yeah, I think it went well. I mean, the biggest issue was for me was I was on I say was because it's about to change. I was on a 2x drivetrain, and just because I like that.
I'm a 2x guy.
And I like how you get the gears close together, but I'm about to go back to 1x. I was on 1x for many years, and I went to 2x. I'm going to go back to 1x because I think it's just more reliable. You have less chance of something. There's one less derailleur to fail you.
I want to be able to go to Grattan and still ride.
Yeah.
And
if you're using a gravel bike as a do-everything bike and you got
that's
two
why
sets
I
of
went
wheels,
to.
yes, 2x. There's nothing wrong with 2x here. I mean, I think the only place 2x becomes an issue is chain retention on really, really rough stuff. But even washboards in Michigan, I don't think will cause you to lose your chain. Now, go out west, Arizona, New Mexico, you know, some of the really rural fire roads in Colorado, where there's like big chunky gravel, fist-sized pieces of rock that you're bouncing off of, you could have a chain retention problem with 2x, but maybe not. I mean, 2x is not dead. It's still a thing.
The clutches are pretty strong at like a lot of the modern derailleurs.
Yeah.
I've been looking at gravel bikes recently, and I just learned that, they have 1x, but it's 1x13.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1x12.
Yeah.
1x13 is more your demographic. I'm more
What are you
a
trying to say?
1x11 or 12.
What are you trying to call me?
A front runner.
Oh, okay. But no, I thought like the highest it was 1x12. I had no idea they had 1x13, but I've been looking at 2x's and 1x13. But
I mean, the beauty of more gears in the back means you can get more of them stepped closer together, so you don't have these big jumps. I mean, I think the original 1x's were maybe 10 speed. In the
I feel
mountain bike
like
world?
and I feel like
And you had big jumps.
gravel and road, the cadence really matters for like energy conservation, because a couple of the big gravelation rides, I did like a 50 and a 60 miler with George's group from Rockford Bike Shop. And man, when we sat at like the higher speeds, I was so screwed between my hardest gear and the gear before it. It was either I was pushing like a 70 cadence at a ridiculous watt, or I was 110 cadence, just spinning like an idiot. And like
Short cranks are the answer there, my friend.
I mean, I run a 170. It's not even like it's a long crank. It was that bike right that's sitting over there. But the knobby tires, if I'm not in the draft, I'm in trouble. And you're trying to like stay that distance between the person in front of you, and you're turning over either 1,000,000 miles an hour, or you're dropping that gear and you're just wasting energy. And like we're north of Greenville, and we're riding back to Rockford, and it's like, oh no. Like I am burning matches that I do not have for later.
Yeah.
And it's either that or I pedal at 105 and I'm a sprinter, like running in air basically.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the challenge, right? I mean, there is no perfect drive. That's kind of the beauty of gravel, I think, right? You get kind of road speeds and road kind of camaraderie. It's a different kind of thing. You're riding as a peloton. You're riding to work together, whereas mountain bike is very much an individual sport. I mean, you ride together with people, but you're not pulling somebody along. Nobody's pulling you along. I mean, it is down to what you are doing. Like it's on you about picking the right line. It's on you about being in the right gear to hit that short punchy climb. And that's 100% on you. But you're out there with your friends. You're out there with a group of people, and it's very much very much a you kind of endeavor. You get out there on gravel, and you're with this other group of people, and if you're geared wrong, that's what happens.
The one thing that I tell people, that because I'm newer to it, so I just sound like an idiot, but I can go out, or when I do go out to get PRs or whatever, like when I went for the KOM at Merrill or Luton or whatever, I go by myself. Like I ain't looking to go with a friend. We're not going to ride the same. The turns are really going to be the difference maker. Like the fastest mountain bikers I know that ride about the same speed I do, we ride so polar opposite with power versus handling ability that we can't ride together. Like we're just going to screw each other up. But if I want to go out and get a PR on a gravel, I need to find 5 of my fastest friends to go with me. That's about the same speed. Like you find like a team, and that camaraderie is why I've really enjoyed it more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, I would even tell you, so Barry-Roubaix is, just talking about that. Barry-Roubaix is kind of the crown jewel gravel race in Michigan, right? Everybody knows it. It's billed as, and it probably is the largest gravel race, if not in the United States, in the world.
It's the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it?
We just had Matt and Jeff on.
Okay.
Before you.
Yeah, I remember watching it. So it's confirmed it is the largest in the world. It's all about the event, but it's like you show up there and there's all these other people. Some of them many of them you don't, but it's like everybody's out there riding together. And I'm looking at Ryan, he says, no one ever called out gravel hazards when racing. Maybe on fun rides, people played that card, did not competition out.
That's a California thing.
Yeah,
we're nicer in the Midwest.
Some people might do that. I mean, but there's an etiquette. I mean, I always say, don't be a dick. I mean, unless you are literally in that front group, and you are definitely vying for podium. It is you don't have to be very far back into the pack, and it's all of a sudden, even though everybody's going hard, it's very much a social. There's a social aspect to it, even if it's not social in the moment. There's a social aspect of doing it together, and I think that's what's cool. And I think a lot of roadies, and I was saying this to Trevor when I was on the Dirty Chain, a lot of people come to gravel from somewhere else. Like we're starting to get people who literally just they come into cycling as gravel riders. That's where they start. But for a long time, for at least the last, I'd say 10 years, everybody migrated from somewhere else. They either came from mountain bikes or they came from the road. And so I think that's another reason that gravel might have some of the characters, and it's changed over time. I mean, gravel, when it first started, when it kind of became a thing 10, 15 years ago, it was like flannels, ride what you brung. It was a very different kind of experience. It was a very social experience. And then it kind of grew up, and, getting fast and racing became a part of it. But it never, I don't feel like, somebody out there is probably like, okay, he's full of shit, but I don't feel like it has changed that much, which is kind of cool. People say, we're at the peak of gravel now too. Maybe we are. Maybe we've hit the peak. I don't know. What I would tell you is I don't think it's going anywhere. I mean, if you look at just this year, the number of bike manufacturers that have put out new gravel bikes. I mean, 3T completely revamped their whole line. They sank a ton of money into R&D to make, and they're known for aero gravel bikes, right? They started that whole segment, aero on gravel, and they completely revamped their entire line. If gravel was dead, they wouldn't be doing that. Okay, so they started this process 2 or 3 years ago, so maybe it's sunk cost, but I don't think so.
Carbon molds aren't cheap.
Nope.
And the full suspension gravel bikes are becoming a thing for the bike packing, because I mean it's such a wide range. Because basically I feel like it starts at cyclocross for gravel and goes into all the way to the Paris-Roubaix, and then all the way to bike packing is everything that fits this adventure bike mold that you can get your mountain bikers in, you can get your road riders in, and road riders try to wreck it and the mountain bikers keep it fun.
Fair.
Well, you put 2.4-inch tires in a full suspension just with drop bars, you might have me interested.
They have those.
Yeah, that's
like a new thing.
Is it $10,000?
How much? Yeah, just say how much money you got.
more if you want.
Dude, there's a class 3 Salsa e-bike. I went out to dinner after the Barry-Roubaix with the QBP reps and the Salsa rep, and they've got There's one at Rockford Bike Shop. It's like $14,000, but it goes 30 and it's full suspension.
Goes 28. Let's be honest. now we're into my work, what I do.
Let's talk about your work
Yeah.
instead of just rambling about.
What is the League of Michigan Bikers?
So the League of Michigan Bicyclists is a nonprofit 501c3. So we are education and advocacy. I got to put it in that order if the IRS is listening. We exist to advocate for cycling, right? It's a lot of things, but I'll say it in plain English. It's we advocate for cyclist rights. We are considered by Michigan law, the cyclists on the road are legal traffic. Ignore the Facebook comments from all the people that are experts in Michigan law. We are legal traffic. We also use public land, Cannonsburg State Game Area. There are other examples. That's another place that we work and advocate. I think you guys may know Neil Glazebrook. He's kind of my point man for interfacing with the DNR. But we are engaged with the DNR, and we're not fighting with them to get access, but we are staying there, staying present to ensure that access in things like, again, the game area, we don't lose that. And there's the Cannonsburg State Game Area is also an interesting case because it's managed differently. It's actually called out by name in the land use order. It is managed entirely differently than every other game area in the state. But that's a whole other issue. I won't bore you with it. But that's one part of our work. Another part of our work is education. We have a grant from the Office of Highway Safety and Planning to do what's called bicycle and pedestrian safety for law enforcement. So we send out instructors to educate law enforcement that are currently on the job or that are in the academy. So up and coming law enforcement officers to basically let them know what the rights of cyclists and pedestrians. We always add pedestrians in there because it matters, right? Because that's a whole class of road users, the vulnerable roadway user. But we go out and do that type of work. But then we also do some other educational things. We publish a couple of different small pamphlets, like what every Michigan bicyclist must know. And part of that is about educating our own community, right? If we have legal access to roads, to the roadways, to the road network, and we have the same rights as a motor vehicle operator, we also have the same responsibilities. And as much as it pains me to say, in the state of Michigan right now, at a stop sign, cyclists must stop. Most of us don't. We should admit that because it's safer to not put a foot down. It's safer to keep some kind of momentum through the intersection if it's clear. But we do have an obligation and a responsibility to stop the stop sign.
That in the comments, I will say I go to work at 4 a.m. and I do bicycle stops at stop signs at 4 a.m.
So
in my car, for the record.
I have been called out. I have had somebody who was in so much of a hurry they had to pull up next to me, slow down, roll down their window, and yell at me for rolling a stop sign. And I just politely said, "Ma'am, that was called a track stand." And the manager is not in to take your questions at this time. And I continued riding. Good point. So, rolling the stop signs, the Idaho stop, that is, as an example, that is something that LMB is actively working with the state legislature. We're not going to get anything done this year because the second year of a legislative session in Michigan becomes focused on exactly two things: finishing the budget for the coming year. So the 2027 budget needs to get finished this year. And most of our elected representatives will be running for re-election or running for election to the next office. So it makes it a little bit challenging to get things moved through the legislature this year, but we can set conditions so that next year we can get right onto it as soon as the new legislature is seated. And that is something we are seeking to do. We would like to add Michigan to the list of esteemed states in the union, which permit Idaho stops, and stretch goal is to allow cyclists to treat stop lights as a stop sign. Come to a complete stop, clear the intersection, and then you may continue. And the reason for that is a lot of intersections in Michigan use what's called an inductive loop. And that inductive loop, if you've ever seen like the lines in the pavement, it looks like there's like
Sense the
RTV.
weight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you ain't gonna trip it. I mean,
We are.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I've had this issue with motorcycles. Like I ride motorcycles and sometimes those don't even trip it. So I've been sitting at a stop sign forever before
but
I
on
find
but on a motorcycle, the way the law is written in Michigan, you have to wait for I think they say 2 cycles of light, or what would reasonably be 2 cycles. We would like it to be written so that cyclists in Michigan have the opportunity to pull up. So near where I live, in the middle of the city, it's in the middle of Grand Rapids. There are not inductive loops, but you pull up to some of these intersections, and it's really long in one direction, not the other. And if you happen to be on the long light direction, pull up. It's clear there's no traffic. You should be allowed to go. You accept that risk. You're accepting risk, but it makes sense. The other reason this makes sense is that once the law changes, the behaviors that people think that we are just out there acting as scofflaws, doing whatever we want to do, we're like, no, it's actually in the law. We are permitted that, and it changes the behavior. The other thing I would tell you is I have had some pushback from older members of our community who feel like what we're doing is we're just going to make it worse for cyclists because now people are going to be mad because we're all rolling through stop signs, and I'm kind of like, we already are.
The rolling through stop signs, I feel like, is less of an issue than when you have like 5 or 6 cars pass you, and then you roll up on them, and instead of waiting in line, you move to the front and then you roll it. That's, I feel like, a lot of the ire. Where for one, I hate riding in groups because I think I won't do any. Sorry, Jeff, I will not do the like downtown rides and stuff in the groups because, as a motorist, I don't like us. So I have a strong like hypocrite rule in my life. But like if I'm on a gravel road and there's a stop sign, I ain't stopping if I can see both ways. And in all fairness, I ain't stopping in my car or a motorcycle either. Like if I get popped for that, then we'll deal with that when it comes up. But like in the city especially, I feel like it's different, especially when you're jumping cars, because like the number one thing I hear at work is I passed this cyclist that took me forever to pass, and then they rolled past me on the right side in the bike lane, and they got in front of me again, and I couldn't pass them again. And that seems to be a pretty large point of contention.
I will say I'm guilty of, you see road riders riding down the road all the time, and there's a sidewalk right next to them. Like, why aren't they riding on the sidewalk? I was guilty of complaining about that until I got a road bike, and I started riding on the road, and you realize, I'm
not going to get hit from the side.
Yeah, those aren't as smooth as you think, or there's like roots that grow under it, and there's big old bumps, and like
when you get on the sidewalk, you might as well be invisible.
Yeah, I mean, I ride bikes and I pull out past the bike path. If I can't do it right, then I don't expect someone that doesn't ride bikes to even think about it.
Yeah.
No, I know my first road ride, I'm like, oh, now I get it. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, that in a nutshell is what LMB is. That's what we do. We're a member-based organization. That's probably the most critical thing. Everybody who's a cyclist in Michigan should be a member of LMB.
And it's free, right? Like, just touch on that.
You may join for free. We do have a paid membership tier, but as we're moving things around, I will be completely frank, and some of my board members may be listening. They're going to have a heart attack. There isn't very much we can offer at the paid tier other than you contributed. Mm-hmm. Your membership, the membership fee you paid, is funding the work we keep doing. But we can't offer you a whole lot in return.
But numbers matter.
And I will tell you, I've had discussions with lawmakers, I've had discussions with retired lawmakers, and they will tell you if you show up and you have 2,500 members, that's a number. It's big. It sounds big. It packs, the lower bowl of the Van Andel. It's a lot of people. But if you show up and it's 15 or 20 or 25,000 members, and there's got to be that many cyclists in Michigan, there's no way that there's not that many. If 5,500 people show up to Barry-Roubaix and 400 of them, 500 of them come from out of state, that's still 5,000 cyclists that live in the state of Michigan that signed up and went and did that race. If every single one of them was a member of LMB, when I'm sitting in front of a legislator to say the Idaho stop would make a lot of sense, and here's why. There's data that actually proves that it's safer for cyclists. It reduces the undesirable interactions with motor vehicles for cyclists. They're going to listen because that's a huge number. And that huge number matters because they're sensitive, unless they don't care if they ever get reelected. But the only ones that don't care are the ones that are term limited and that they're usually running for something else. And I'm not being cynical. I'm just being completely honest. And the numbers matter. It's kind of like in a peloton. A group of 2 or 3 riding into the wind is going to have to do a lot more work to get where they go if they're working together. A group of 10 does less work. Each one does less work, but they still all do the same kind of, the group does the still same amount of work. A group of 20, 30, 40, 200 like you would have in the Tour de France, all of a sudden, most people spend most of their time in the draft providing support, but they're not tiring themselves out, and that large group of people makes it possible for us to actually do that work on the behalf of cyclists. And that means, and again, I go back, let me emphasize, it's not just about safety on the road, it's also about the access to trails. It's about, here's another example. A lot of people really enjoy using the trail system we have in Michigan. So about 10 years ago, Governor Schneider declared Michigan would be a trail state. That's why we have all of these, thanks to what the Fred Meyer Foundation started with all of the Fred Meyer trails in West and Mid-Michigan. Those expanded out into the trail network. We have these linear state parks that are all around.
We'll be using some of them for our Taco Bell 100 that you're going to do.
And you will. I'm not going to tell you where, but if you look around, I believe I may have the KOM on one of those segments we're going to go through. You can take it. It's the last one I have on a state trail.
I ain't taking it, but there's other people in the chat that could.
If you find it, Justin, you can have it.
So really, but you guys are the voice in the room when the lawmakers need to hear somebody stand up for cyclists.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from here is it doesn't cost you anything to join, but it gives you a bigger voice when you're trying to go in front of those lawmakers.
That's the number one thing. But I will tell you, if you join, you will have to accept emails from us from time to time. Well, you could opt out. Please don't. But we will ask for people to donate, because that's how we fund the work.
Well, it's like a Peloton. This is a good analogy, because the people that can afford to donate should donate to a good cause. The people that can't afford it, just be a number there to help the greater good of the whole Peloton.
Absolutely.
So if you're in a position that you can donate and advocate for cycling and trail access and rights and all these things, then by all means, you should totally donate. If that's your passion, you should fund your passion. But if you're in a position that you can't, like I was in a position that I couldn't 2 years ago, where now I have a little bit more wiggle room and I can start donating to the charities, like the board I'm on and the WIMBA and stuff like that. I'm going to get called out for not being a WIMBA member. Is what's going to happen on this. But as
you can fix that at the next break.
I could fix that at the Yankee Springs time trial. We'll see how it goes. I donate a lot, but as you become a stronger member or have more to contribute, you can contribute it, and it is for the greater good of everyone at that point.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me if I start my Facebook comment with "Dear Michigan Lawmaker," that it doesn't have an effect?
It has less of effect than what Andy does.
But there are also other opportunities. Once you are a member, you will be made aware of things like we have something called Bicycle and Trail Advocacy Day. It happens the second Tuesday of every March. We used to do it in May. We moved it forward. There was a scheduling conflict that made us move it forward.
Is it the Taco Bell 100?
No.
Damn it.
It does not conflict with the Taco Bell 100. But we moved that forward, and this year was the largest. I think it was the largest turnout we had at Bicycle and Trail Advocacy Day, and it was it's a Tuesday, so people if you come and you've got a job, you got to take a day off from work. But if it matters to you, you can come. We charge a small fee because we provide you lunch, and there's some other things we have to do. We print like a ton of packets to go out to each legislature. We do some preparation. We get on. We do a couple of Zoom calls or a couple of Zoom webinars. Well, they may not be Zoom anymore, but we do the webinars to kind of go through what the issues are that we want to advocate, because it's like bringing a group of people and making sure that everybody has that they understand the message that we're trying to send. And it's not about messaging in the sense that, in the cynical sense, it's about like, let's make sure that we're saying the same thing, so that then when we go away and the lawmakers get together and talk to each other, they all heard the same thing. Because that also matters. And by getting a large mass of people all at one time, we can have an impact. We can set. Now, this is a tough year because it's the second year of a legislature, but next year will be the first year of a new legislature. It is a wonderful time to get people there, and I would love to have the first world problem next year where we get enough people signed up that we're starting to scramble to be like, we can't do it in the Mackinac room in the House office building because it's not big enough for all the people that signed up.
And we need Keith from the grilling company to bring food for all these bicyclists.
Well, that could be an option.
Ryan asked to do the name of the organization again and to reiterate the date of the Taco Bell 100, and it's the League of Michigan Bicyclists.
LMB.org. If you need it in NATO letters, it's Lima Mike Bravo.org.
It's also Andy's hat. So there's that. And then the Taco Bell 100 is May 3rd, and we will be starting at Bostwick Lake Inn, and there is an event on Facebook. And I am pretty proud of the route that I put together for it.
You should be. I was impressed with it.
So how does the league decide on the issues, or I guess the messaging that's going to get delivered to legislature? And is it I don't know. Is it obvious?
We pay Andy.
Yeah. Like the Idaho stop is a pretty clear, it bugs everyone.
I'll trade you a jalapeno cheddar beef stick if I can get a rule that I want.
So there's a couple of ways, there's a couple of things we consider. One of them is consistency. So what did we message last year? So this year our messaging was essentially 3 issues, something called the Justice for Vulnerable Roadway Users Act. I'm going to go to a really dark place for a minute. There was a gentleman that was killed in Grand Rapids downtown leaving Civic Theater. He was one of the stagehands at Civic Theater. He was killed in January of 2025 by a person driving a car who was on a restricted license. So his license had been suspended. He had it back, but it was still on restriction. He was driving when he was not allowed to drive on the restriction. He was the crash investigators determined, I believe he was going 61 miles per hour at some point. Downtown in a 30, hit the cyclist, killed him instantly. And the Justice for Vulnerable Roadways Users Act, if we can get it passed, and we're very hopeful it's going to actually, it's one of the few bills that will get voted out of session or get voted out of committee, and then will go to the floor for a vote this year. That would give prosecutors in Michigan the ability to charge a more serious offense when it's warranted, if the investigation warrants it. Sometimes cyclists just jump out in front of cars. I mean, every driver says it. But sometimes there are legitimately just the circumstances just make it a really tragic occurrence. But driving 61 miles an hour in downtown Grand Rapids in a 30 mile per hour zone, there is nothing about that makes it a tragic, that was a choice. And all the prosecutor could charge him with was a misdemeanor causing death, I think it's called causing death by motor vehicle. The maximum penalty that the person who is convicted will get is up to 1 year in jail. Will probably get released early because the sheriff will say, nonviolent crime, I need to keep the jail open for other things, so we'll do maybe a few months, and then he's out. And a $300 fine. The Justice for Vulnerable Roadway Users Act would allow a penalty of up to 5 years for causing serious injury, or up to 10 years for causing death, and a fine that starts at $5,000 and just starts climbing depending on the circumstances. And it really is up to the judge. So that bill is almost over the line. That was our number one priority issue this year, but it was really about just sending the message to the legislators. We need to get this over the line. It is not automatic. If this law passes, if you're driving a car and you kill a pedestrian, it's not automatic you're going to be charged with this, but a prosecutor will look at, is it warranted? Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with operating a multi-ton vehicle. And, you know, the craziest thing to me is coming home to Michigan after 26 years to really move home and live here, not just visit for a week or two at a time. How fast and how crazy the driving is in Michigan. It's I don't remember it like this. It's absolutely crazy to me. So I hope that this becomes a deterrent to people to start thinking about what they're doing because there are real consequences. But then again, you could say, oh, well, there's real consequences in a construction zone. And you see people on I-96 85 miles an hour in the construction zone, and it's like, come on, man. You're not going to get there any much faster because you're going to go into the back of a truck, and then you're going to have to do the next 4 miles at truck speed. But it will give a tool to prosecutors. The other two things that we hit on was we began to socialize e-motos versus e-bikes and the need for e-motos to be defined in the state law and to be regulated appropriately. These are not bicycles. It does not matter if Suron or any other company that's selling them wants them to be an e-bike, a class 4 e-bike or whatever they call it. There's no such thing. It does not matter what they call it. It is a motorcycle. 37 miles per hour, 45 miles per hour. Oh, you can buy a kit and it goes 65 miles per hour. And there's a lot of parents that are buying these for their kids not knowing what they are. The people listening to this podcast, us, we will recognize right away it is not a bicycle. But there are a lot of people who see this and hear, class 4 e-bike, I'm buying my kid an e-bike. Oh, and Tommy and Billy have one, so Dave needs one too.
And some of them even still have cranksets.
Yeah.
Like that go 50 miles an hour.
Well, let me tell you about that crankset. Have you ever tried to pedal one of those things? No. Don't. It's a waste of your time. It's vestigial. It's just there. It's the proverbial, can we say tits on a board?
Yeah. You say whatever you want.
You said shit earlier, so you're good.
Fair. Guilty. You know, but they're not. They are motorcycles, and they need to be regulated appropriately. That means that then, if you want to ride one of those types of vehicles, it's fine. We're not saying outlaw them. We're saying regulate them, just like we do a moped, just like we do a motorcycle, just like we do a car. If you want to drive your Jeep on state public land where it's allowable, you have to purchase an ORV sticker. If you want to drive that on the road, you have to have all the DOT required safety equipment. There are a lot of people buying these and riding these around on the road. They're motorcycles, but they're pretending they're bikes. And so they don't have DOT safety equipment, meaning no headlight, no tail light at minimum. They don't have a license plate. They don't have VIN numbers. They're not DOT certified. They're just out there ripping around. And they're frankly, it's a public health hazard, to be completely frank.
If anybody had watched the Seth Bike Hacks video on New Jersey, kind of swinging the pendulum too far when it comes to legislature. I don't know if any of you have heard about this. Any e-bike, you are required to wear a DOT helmet. You have to have a motorcycle license. It is wildly, I guess, extensive, the amount of steps that you have to go through, even if you're just
even
riding,
a class 1?
Even a class 1. And then you have to ride with traffic. They basically said if it's got a motor, an electric motor at all, it is considered a motorcycle.
So here's why the e-bike, e-moto issue came up and why we've started socializing it. And we have started discussing with a few legislators. The ones that we're discussing with are safely going to get reelected. So we're also not wasting our time, but we're focusing, we're focusing on legislators who we know are in seats that are safe for them, that they will get reelected. It is the league's position that class 1, 2, 3 e-bikes is a settled matter. It is written into Michigan law. It should stay in Michigan law the way it is. We may not be users of e-bikes. I actually have one. I use it occasionally when I'm moving around town, so I'm not breaking a sweat going somewhere because I don't want to drive. I'd rather just take my bike because it's faster to get there, literally. But the point we have is keep the e-bike the way it is. It is a bicycle by law. It should stay a bicycle, and let's separate the e-motos out and stop letting them be confused, because what we have is, you know, we have various municipalities around the state that are trying to regulate e-motos because they're experiencing challenges with them on their city streets. But they're going after e-bikes because there's no distinction being made and they don't understand the distinction. And so that is another place where we are working to protect cycling, because once you go down that road of requiring licenses and license plates and insurance and starting to say things like, I'm an advocate for wearing a helmet all the time, but if you don't want to wear one, that's your business. I'm not gonna promote that. Because I've crash tested a couple helmets in my life and they work great. But the point is, once we start allowing for that regression on e-bikes, it is a very, very short step to then start to do it on those bikes. And that is a world that we could live in. I mean, if you look at what's going on, and I'm not being political when I say this, but in the current Department of Transportation, there is a published position paper that is about, it's called the Freedom to Drive. And that freedom to drive is about creating opportunities for motor vehicle operators to suffer from less congestion, less traffic. And the answers are ones that we know don't work, which is more vehicle lane miles. You add another vehicle lane mile, it just fills up, right? It does not actually solve the problem. The best way to reduce congestion is reduce cars on the road by promoting other opportunities to transport, whether that's on a bicycle, it's on foot, it's on a scooter, micromobility, or it's even a bus. And that's why we think it's really important to protect the bicycle. So this is a really long way to say that's how we got to the second one. It just made sense. And then the Idaho stop. That was a no-brainer to bring it back. We had talked about it with the legislature last year. There are legislators which are amenable to it, and they are friendly with it. They just are like, not right now. It'll have to be next year. But the fact that we talked about it again after talking about it the previous year, and the fact that we're going to talk about it again in 27, there starts to be a pattern to what we're saying, and the legislators start hearing it. Because that's another thing. Legislators tend to be, unless it's a really gross issue, very like a really standout issue, the more you talk about something with them, the more likely it is that they will eventually give it a fair hearing.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with the same thing with the speech stuff that's going on statewide, national.
Yep.
Courtney's really involved in that stuff, and it's the same thing. They're very feel the water, check the temp before they jump in and promote something.
But the key is consistency in the message. If we're all over, we have a whole list of and it's published. Should be published on our website. Because I wrote the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure we put it on there. But we have a whole list of things, and they're in order of what we think is, and we created an order for the, where they are in importance. And some of them are VRU is number one because we got to get it over the goal line. When it's done, it goes off, and then everything moves up. And we put things in place based on how important is it. E-bike, e-moto we think is pretty important. Idaho stop we think is pretty important. But then there's some other stuff in there. There's like tax abatements for private land donation to connect trails. I was talking about trails earlier. One of the problems we have with trails in Michigan, all these long linear state parks, some of them don't go anywhere. Like they go somewhere and stop. But the next one is 10 miles away. Why did we not connect that? So that's another thing that we're advocating with the DNR and MDOT to figure out how to get these connections built so that if you get on the White Pine Trail, you should in theory be able to do a lap around Michigan on trails. The trails are there. They're just gaps. If we close those gaps 5-10 miles, even some of them are even shorter than that, we have this whole network of trails that people could use. And guess what? There's grocery stores and there's small towns with hotels and beds and breakfast. You can go bike packing on the trails around Michigan, and you can go for a 3-day tour on your own, and you can go credit card bike packing, or you can carry your own tent. There's a lot that but getting that network built so that people can use it is just another example of things that we think are important.
So I think the New Jersey e-mountain bike, e-moto, them confusing and bucketing them all into one group and ruling them or deciding on the legislature based on that group, I think it's a great example of where LMB could have stepped in and educated the legislators on what they're making a law about. Because I'm sure they thought they were doing a good thing, and we're going to make every electric bike safer. And nobody could come in and explain the difference between the classes and who's using these electric mountain bikes or electric cycles. That seems like a great example of where something like an LMB could have stopped that from happening.
Sort of. I mean, yes.
Or
That
at
would-
least give the facts.
So that would. So I actually was. So I sit on a monthly call with the executive directors of organizations like ours in other states around the country, and that issue in New Jersey came up on the December call. So it was the second Tuesday of December. So we're charging headlong towards Christmas, and New Jersey has this weird thing they call lame duck session. And essentially, it allows for fast-tracked legislation. And the legislator that introduced that was from the city of Newark, and he introduced it because two kids, I think they were 11 and 12. The 11-year-old was driving, the 12-year-old was on the back, were on an e-moto, and they got hit by a truck. They got killed. And it happened earlier in the fall. And he was ready to deal with e-bikes. And he brought it into the lame duck, and it was like literally flash to bang on that thing was like 72 hours. Mm-hmm. And so, and I remember the executive director from New Jersey was apoplectic. She's like, there's nothing we can do because it's lame duck and it moves too fast. We can't even, she said, by the time we have an email out and we have mobilized people, it will have already been voted out of committee and it'll be on the floor for a vote. Fortunately, in Michigan, we don't have a legislative process. There's no shortcutted legislative processes at different times. Like in the lame duck is literally, it was at the end of their session while they're waiting to seat the new So election has happened. They're waiting to seat a new legislature.
It just became the butt of every national thing about this. They just looked
100%.
They had so much egg on their face for doing something so stupid.
So what I would tell you is, while it's not great that happened, in fact, it's terrible that it happened to people in New Jersey, and I hope it will get reversed in this coming year, and it seems like it will. It's just going to take a long time because now it won't be done in lame duck. What it has done, though, is it gives all of us everywhere else to say that's not how you do it. And the two legislators that I've spoken to on that have both said, and they didn't even know it. And when I told them, they were aghast. They were like, "That's not right." Even ones that were probably not. They were kind of like, "Oh, it's an interesting issue. I don't know. Yeah, we'll take that up." And then we point that out, and they're like, that's not good.
You're going to have some real angry people.
But that is absolutely what LMB exists to do. It's our job, and we'll miss things. We're a small staff, but it is our job to stay focused on these types of issues and to advocate to prevent for a loss of access. I would consider, what happened in New Jersey a loss of access, but it's more important that we are there to advocate for increased, at least maintained or increased access for cycling opportunities. And there's a lot of good. Let's go back to the health thing, right? I mean, you and I are out there, got our heart rate up. It was great. We were out there for, 50 minutes on Merrill today. Get your heart rate up. I mean, we probably added 3 minutes to our life. I definitely took at least one cigarette off my life, back when I smoked a long, long time ago.
I just told him to follow me. He wasn't keen on it. I'm like, just follow my line. It'll be safe. He's like, nah.
I was trying. You had some nice kickouts on some of those jumps. And I was like, not for me. I got to answer a question. Orion did ask a question. Can law enforcement check phones of drivers if there is a death? They can check your phone even if there's not a death. There has to. I don't know the exact criteria. I mean, there's a kind of, they have to have reasonable cause, but most certainly if there is an automobile accident, your phone's probably going to get checked. And depending on the severity, they may actually seize it. They can do. Again, I'm not an expert here, and maybe we have a law enforcement officer listening, or I'm thinking like a Jason Frank maybe, but
friend of the show, Jason Frank.
Jason's a great guy.
Pickleball terribleness. Just saying.
Pickleball?
Smoke you.
Really?
Yeah.
Pickleball?
Most of us play pickleball.
When I decided to quit, I bought a titanium bike. He plays pickleball?
Yeah. Most of us do.
Do you play pickleball?
Yeah. So is Craig.
Oh my God.
Kellen's pretty good considering he doesn't really try at it.
I don't play very often.
I've played it a couple times.
You came in a onesie. You can't make fun of me for pickleball.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying. The real issue is my wife may have tuned in, but maybe she's the one who gave the thumbs up. She loves me.
No, that was me.
Oh, you did.
Kellen didn't even give.
Wait a minute. There are at least 4 people in the group chat here, and there's 1 thumbs up. Guys, you got to spike the algo. Let's go. Come on, people, just smash the like button. No, my wife
Subscribe
really,
too, 100%.
my wife would, she would really love. She's expressed it to me, so it's something that will happen. It's coming. It will be in my life soon. We're gonna go buy pickleball paddles, and we're gonna be pickleball people.
Friend of the show, Larry Lynch owns Great Lakes e-bikes and Kiwi Labs pickleball paddles.
Okay.
I would stop in there.
Okay.
I would. He would be a good person for your argument with the classes of e-bikes and stuff because he has a vested interest in it. But he also makes a kick-ass paddle that a whole bunch of us have. I have 3 of them.
Well, I'll have to get his contact info when we leave here because that is another.
You're going to
thing.
drive past it on the way home.
Well, he won't, but he's not open. I mean, if he is, stop in. But
And if you want to try it, don't they have them at that brewery?
Yeah, the Broadleaf Brewing indoors is also Kiwi Labs.
okay. Yeah, I mean that's another thing that I think is for any shop owners that tune in and listen to this, and there's a few. We have friends of the show that are shop owners. George, I would also tell you that that's another thing that we have not pushed. At least my predecessor, we just kind of let people come to us, and I've started to make a concerted effort to start reaching out to shop owners to say, hey, you really need to be a member of LMB. Well, what do I get for it? Well, what you get for it is that that you are the thing that stands in between a pedestrian and a cyclist. The thing that moves somebody from just being a human to being a cyclist is a bicycle. Oh, they can buy them online. Okay, maybe they can, but shouldn't they buy them from a bike shop? Yes, because that's your bread and butter. So that's another, and this is very nascent, but we need to make it a priority over the next year to really build out a genuine support for shops around the state. You mentioned, you were hanging out with the QBP reps. The reality is the cycling industry is always under pressure. It is like any industry. There is a ton of pressure. There's a ton of pressure to make money each quarter, more money this quarter than last quarter.
And right now we're down, so like people are towards the bottom. Like if you're trying to buy a used bike right now, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, bike shop people that I know listen.
But there needs, we need to find a way to get a critical mass of shop owners, and not just e-bike shops, but like all shops, to get them together. And and we had this idea, and we've got to figure out how to do it, but bringing them together like a shop summit to get shop owners in one space for a day to talk about what the issues are. What can LMB to help you? Maybe we can't do anything for you, but give us a chance. Like, let us know what we can do, how we can help. We're not out there to sell a bicycle, but what we are out there to do is protect that experience and protect that opportunity. And the bicycle is a critical part of it. Just like, you talked earlier about golf, right? You're going to go do the golf event. You can't go golfing unless you got some sticks, right? And you can't go for a bike ride unless you've got a bicycle.
You can go golfing at Golf 616 without sticks because John has them.
Well,
We'll see you on
you got to rent them.
We'll see you on April 30th.
We don't wait written.
Okay. If you don't have a stick in your hand and you're sitting there swinging, you're just doing air swings, you're going to look silly.
I hit the ball the same amount whether I have a golf club or not.
Keep that in mind.
I should use my pickleball paddle. That's what I should do.
Keep that in mind. Listen, good idea. But might have found a good use for it.
I was going to say, I just saw an ad on Instagram for this thing called Sling Golf, and it's like a little wooden cradle that you put it if you got frustrated with golf and you quit.
Dude, I'm sweet at bucket golf.
If
I can hit a wiffle ball all day.
You can pay the money, the greens fees, and go to the golf course and then throw the ball from your
There's
hand
soccer,
with an implement.
there's kick golf too.
I know, but it's golf.
I mean, we're really going down a rabbit hole. I mean, there's frisbee golf. I mean,
whoa.
Shout out to the late 90s.
I was the ultimate frisbee coach at Grand Valley for 10 plus years. I'm not even
Don't
kidding.
take this the wrong way. I can totally see that.
I've done a lot of stuff. I'm grizzled. Ginger normally doesn't crack, but I'm starting to crack.
Yeah.
We've been pretty serious. There is a couple stories you were telling me about that I was pretty interested in.
I've been sitting on a question since the start of this.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You look like you got to pee over there.
Are you sitting on a question or are you sitting?
No.
It's a turd. Turtle head.
Tell me about jumping out of planes for the military. Like, I'm imagining cramming as many people as you can in a plane, then open the door and everyone out.
Nuts to butts, bro.
You, I mean, right there, you just summed it up.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
Can you steer those things at all? Like you're.
There are steerable static line parachutes, but when you do a mass tactical jump, you do not use them. In fact, the average jumper never will use a steerable parachute. So when I started, we jumped the T10 Delta, which is a round canopy parachute. The best you could do was pull a 2-riser slip to stop your movement through the air. You don't want to land with a lateral or forward or backwards movement. You want to stop your movement. So you have to look down at the ground. So you come out of the airplane and nice tight body position. You go out of the airplane, you count to 4, you got a parachute. That's on the T10 Delta. When we moved to the T11, it was a 6-second until the parachute would be fully locked open. But the T11 didn't have a true opening shock like the 10. So you had to always look up at it to make sure you had a parachute, because it has happened. I looked up one time in my parachute at the top of the parachute. There were several panels that were stuck together and they were not separating, and so they had fused, because the nylon will, if it gets hot, it will fuse together. And so I had a parachute that was not fully formed, and so I did have to use my reserve. And you don't ever want to do that, because under the reserve you're at the wrong angle for landing, so you're basically at mercy of the wind and the ground and everything else. But generally what happens is when you come out, you're moving across the ground and you pull, like, so if the wind is blowing from your back and you're moving forward, you pull the front, the two risers in the front, and you pull them down as far as you can and you hold them, and it's like doing a pull-up. It's hard, like there's a lot of air in the parachute, and so you're pulling and holding that, and in theory what that does is it collapses the front of the parachute and it dumps air out the back of the parachute, and it pushes against the wind that's blowing you, and so you stop moving, and in theory you're landing in a slow, or a slow movement. It slows your movement. It kind of works.
I will say that we're big in the hang gliding community in northern Georgia, and I've heard some of their stories also about coming in hot and legs not bending the way they should.
Oh, yeah.
And
everything I've heard about, like the whole paratroopers and that you come in hot because you have your rucksack and all the extra weight on you.
Yeah.
And you're just learning how to crash so you don't break.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
exactly right. Yeah. So a typical combat load. So when I was involved in what we called the mass tax, and they always happen at night, so it was in the dark. And we would always pick the nights that were the darkest. I mean, 0% of loom, meaning there's no moon. You go out of an airplane, and there's red lights in the airplane or green lights, and they're dim, and you go out into the dark, but it's like stepping in. It's like walking into an ink cloud. You can't see anything, and then eventually your eyes start to adjust. They adjust pretty quickly, and then it's like, oh shit, here comes the ground. And you've got 100 pounds in the rucksack, and if you're doing a combat jump. So when I was a company commander, I had one radio and 4 batteries. That total weight alone was like 25 pounds. And then if we were doing actual simulated ammunition, I would then carry 2 simulated mortar rounds. Everybody had to jump 2 60-millimeter mortar rounds. Because you had to bring the mortars to the ground for your mortars, because you want them to be there functional. So everybody has to jump that. So you've got all this weight hanging off your harness, and you come out of an airplane, you weigh 170 pounds, but you got another 100 pounds strapped to you, plus a weapon. It's pretty crazy. It is not sport.
No, that's
It's sporty, but it ain't sport.
So if you can't steer these things, have you ever got caught in a tree or like something like that?
I have never gotten put out in the trees. And if that
do people
happens,
give you shit if you do get caught in a tree?
No, because it's always the Air Force's fault. Because the only way you end up in the trees is they effed up the calculation and they put you in the wrong place in relationship to the drop zone and the winds. In theory. So I have come out, no joke, I've come out on Sicily drop zone, I've come out of the right side of the airplane over the trees, and the wind was blowing fast enough. I landed dead in the 800 feet from the time I exited the airplane to the time I hit the ground. I was dead center of the drop zone with a 13-mile-an-hour crosswind.
It sounds like you're giving the Air Force a compliment.
Wait, you say
They did it good that day.
you say 800 feet. You jump from 800 feet up.
800.
Like that's your elevation?
Yes.
Oh, that's a low jump.
You know how long? You know how long you have to live? Or you know how long you have to pull your reserve if your main fails?
Like
4 seconds, 3 seconds.
The rest of your life. It is about 9 seconds to fall 800 feet. If I remember right, it's you have 9 seconds. So you burn 4 seconds before the opening shock, and then you have about 2 seconds. At that point, you have about 2 seconds to make a decision if there's no opening shock, or you have a cigarette roll, which is basically a streamer or a fused parachute.
Sounds like you need to lose some weight, fatty. You need 11 seconds.
I wasn't the one that was the problem.
Some of the new shoots take 7 seconds to fully deploy. 6. Oh my God.
By the way, we jumped those from 1,000 feet. That's in training. Combat jumps sometimes, when the Rangers jumped into Afghanistan, to the airfield in northern Afghanistan, if I remember right, they jumped no reserves 500 feet.
Oof.
So that means when they came out of the airplane, they had a parachute that opened, and they were immediately going into the peel. They were immediately preparing to land. They didn't have time to pull slip.
Next time I move money, I'm going to ask my financial advisor, who was a paratrooper there as well, about some of these, because I know he got deployed there. I know he was in Bosnia. I know he was in places that we weren't in. You know.
How many jumps do you think you've made over your life?
I know exactly. I've made 68. I tried to get to 69 and couldn't get there.
And tell us about the first one. What was going through your head there? Or was it kind of clinical?
It was broad daylight. It was over Friar DZ at Fort Benning, Georgia. I had the door, so I was the first jumper out in my stick. And when they said go, I just was like, well, here we go. And I just jumped out, and it wasn't that bad. My second jump was actually worse. My second jump was scarier because after the first one, I knew what to expect. Mm-hmm. And in that one, and here's another thing too, new jumpers will close their eyes when they jump out. And I distinctly remember having my eyes closed. I don't really remember my first, second, third, fourth. I do remember my second. And the reason I remember it is when I went out, I was in the tuck and my eyes were closed, and I felt something hit the side of my face. So in the rise,
that sounds more like the Navy.
There was no powdered soap involved. You know why they use powdered soap, right?
You can't drop it.
It takes longer to pick up. I hope there's no Navy people here.
My uncle was in the Army, and he's always like, how do you separate the men from the boys in the Navy? Crowbar.
We are going inappropriate real fast. But I remember going out and something hit me in the face, and it was actually the log of the parachute. So the log is tied to the parachute with a string of twine, a little piece of twine, and it's secured inside of a pocket in the riser that would come out on your right front. And when it opened, the risers go past your head, and I was in the tuck, and I felt it go out. And I got hit on the side of the face with this thing, and it went by super fast, but I got hit hard. And there's a lot of wind. I mean, the airplane's going 150 miles an hour, 130 knots when you come out of it. So it's not, you put your hand out of a moving car at 50 or 60 miles an hour, imagine double, and the way it works, the force against your hand is much, much greater. It's not double, it's like 10, 20, 30 times greater. Mm-hmm. So you go out into all this wind. But yeah, I mean, honestly, not super memorable. It became more memorable the longer I did it, where I would go out of the airplane, literally eyes open. I mean, I would go out and you always pitch forward. And I can remember always looking at the ground, and I would actually go through my head and start thinking. I'd start counting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, and I'd be looking at the ground underneath me. I'd already be looking for where I thought I was going to land coming out of the airplane, because you just got your eyes open. You're just looking. You're just watching.
Do you pack your own stuff, or do you rely on someone else?
No, use parachute riggers. But what's interesting is parachute riggers have to be airborne in the Army. They have to be airborne qualified, and they are required to jump. If they lose their jump status, they cannot be a rigger, because they are required to jump, and they have to jump, I believe, once a month. Like we have to jump. We had to jump only once every 3 months for pay. They are required, I think, by regulation to jump monthly, and they cannot pick their own parachute. They have to take whatever parachute is handed to them. I could pick my own parachute. I could walk up to it and say, I don't want that one, I want that one.
Steve did that one. I want that one.
Yeah.
I've been skydiving 3 times before, and the most memorable thing to me, I had no idea that would happen, but you jump out, I couldn't breathe. The wind goes by you so fast, you are just trying to suck air, and you're like, you just can't. It just goes by you so fast that you can't breathe.
That's actually G-forces because you're accelerating so fast.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And then you start breathing after, I think it's like, I can't remember how many seconds it is. There's a certain, you stabilize because physics says that you'll accelerate to a certain point and then you don't go any faster.
Isn't it like 110 or 120 mile an hour terminal velocity?
Something like that, yeah. And you get to it pretty quick, and that's when you can, and then it stabilizes and the G-forces normalize, and then you start to breathe again. But that is, yes.
Yeah, that's the most memorable thing. I remember jumping out and something like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
But it's awesome, right?
Oh, yeah, it's sweet. But once you realize I can breathe again.
So I actually had never gone skydiving until I went to Skydive Spa, and so Spa is in the city in Belgium, which is famous for Eddie Mech's riding up and down hills there to train. There are also some, small races nobody here has ever heard of, like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and I don't think Amstel Gold goes through. There's other races that go through there. But Skydive Spa is right next to the Spa-Francorchamps racetrack, and I remember doing the first time I ever went skydiving. I did it there. It was about 4 years ago, and 10,000 feet, and I was so ready to go with everybody. It was like, so it was a high school graduation present for a bunch of kids, and it was like some of his dads went along. We went along with them, and I was the only one that ever jumped out of an airplane. And like all these other guys, they're like Navy dudes, Marines, because we were all military people in the school community there in Brussels, and they were all like, as we're going up, they're all like trying not to look out the window, out the door, and they're looking to the inside, and they're talking to me. They're like, "This is pretty cool, right?" Yeah, and I'm looking out, and I'm like, "Holy cow, look at this, the view!" So I was like, "Hey, look at the view. You can see the whole." And they're like, "Oh, I'm good. I'll see it when I get out."
You should have been the guy, like, you know how on an airplane when things are going bad, you just, no matter how bad it is, you look at the stewardess, and if they're freaking out, you're in trouble. You should have been the paratrooper that was like, oh no. like if you would have had a panic look on your face, like it would have wrecked their lives.
Well, that would have been great. But one thing we used to do to very new paratroopers, and I feel bad. Actually, I don't.
No, you shouldn't.
I feel bad about doing this though. So I become a jump master, and so so in the U.S. military, the jump masters actually jump, and so we like check everybody's rig, make sure everything's good to go. We clear them to jump, and then we go load the airplane. And anytime that we would know there was a new jumper that was going to be jumping with us, it was like we would all like sort of like casting lots for Jesus clothes. We'd all bid for who would get the new jumper, and you'd go through the entire thing, check their entire rig. And then you get to the end, and usually you give them a slap on the ass and be like, have a good jump. And you give them a slap on the ass and be like, got to be honest, I wouldn't jump it, but you'll probably be okay.
That's the best. We need more of that.
I thought you were going to say as they're taking their last steps out the back of the plane. Oh, wait.
No. Once you're in the air, it's all business. I did push somebody out of an airplane once, though. By that time, I was probably on my 5th or 6th duty in the airplane, and I was the primary jump master, and had a soldier came, turned the corner, like you walk to the back of the airplane, and then you take a right turn or a left turn depending on the door you're going out, and this jumper comes in front of me, so I was on the left side door, comes back, they're walking to the back of the airplane, they handed off their static line to the safety, and I remember this clear as it's like the memory plays like clear, it's in high def. He hands off the static line, looks over at me, looks out the door, and puts his hands on the door. And we had to clear the airplane. So I put my right hand out and I stopped the stick coming behind him so they didn't run into him. And I grabbed his shoulders and I gave him, I pushed him. And he wasn't, I was stronger than he was, and so he was a very small soldier.
He was a road biker.
And he had arms like Poggy. And I gave him a push on the shoulders, and he kind of stumbled forward and he went out the airplane. And it's like when I tell people the story, they're horrified. They're like, "Holy cow, you could have really hurt him." I was like, "There's no possible way I could have hurt him."
He's got plenty of time.
The static line was behind him. Now, the only thing that went out is he went out with a terrible body position because he was not able to get into position. So he probably turned and he probably had a twisted parachute.
That's his fault.
But here's the thing.
I'm on your side.
I saved him 45 days. He would have automatically gotten what's called a field grade. If he had refused to jump, he would have automatically gotten a field grade Article 15. So he would have gotten 45 days of restriction and extra duty. So he would have been restricted to his barracks room, place of worship, and the place to eat. He would have had to work extra hours. He would have only been allowed 8 hours to sleep, not 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours to sleep every night. He would have had to get up in the morning, go to work early, do everything normal, all the other, and then go to work after dinner, after the workday was done, and continue to work in the battalion headquarters. And he would have lost half a month's pay for, I think, 3 months.
You know how I know it was a big deal? Because you justified it that much.
Well, you didn't exactly have time to tell him all that.
I did.
This was a much more expedient approach. Yeah.
I did explain it to him once we got on the ground. I went and found him, and he was not happy. And I basically said, I just saved you a field grade Article 15. And he was like, "That was bullshit. It was bullshit, sir." And I said, "It is bullshit." But I said,
Read this.
I said, had you not, he was one of my soldiers. I said, had you not gone, I think I said to him, had you not jumped out of that airplane, you and me would have been talking to the old man this afternoon, and you'd have been given up. And I would listed it for him, and then he was like, "Oh." By the way, he turned out to be a really great paratrooper. He never did it again.
Well, at an hour and 36 minutes in, I do have to ask you about one story that you shed on me after a certain Navy person ran some laps on Strava on an aircraft carrier that was moving, and that was a big deal. You had a similar situation in a Middle Eastern country, I believe.
Yeah, actually South Asian. Yeah. So I did not actually get in trouble. Here's actually what happened. I had when I deployed as part of the 82nd Airborne Division division headquarters to take over what was called Regional Command South in the Kandahar Airfield.
That sounds super important.
In 2011, it actually was.
I believe you. I am.
I won't bore you with the actual work I did. It was all staff work in a staff. I didn't really leave the airfield that entire year, so I was basically just working in an office. But the headquarters company commander, the ops company commander in the headquarters battalion was a friend of mine. He and I had been company commanders in the 3rd Brigade 2 years prior. And we were getting ready to deploy, and I had this old Schwinn S20. You can look it up. For listeners out there, go look it up, Schwinn S20 1999. It was this sick gold vomit color carbon fiber frame bike, and it does not look like any. It looked
before bass boat colors.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a sweet bike in 1999. Not so much by 2011. So I had already gotten a 29er, and I asked my buddy Brian. I said, "Hey, can I throw this in the Connex?" I had it at work, and I said, "Hey, can I throw this in the Connex and take it with to Afghanistan?" He's like, "I don't care." He said, "Can you take the wheels off of it at least so we can fit it in the side?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's just pack it last so it's on top so it doesn't get."
It was quick release at that time. There were no through axles.
True, and it had rim brakes.
It was easy to go. Just a quick disconnect and a flip of the switch, and we were good to go.
If I remember right, it was a 3x8 drivetrain, and around a flat airfield.
Should have been 9.
Around a flat airfield. Maybe it was 9. Around a flat airfield, I could have done a 1x9. In fact, I probably was 1x9 the whole year. There was no reason to shift that front crank. It was just I left it in the big ring, which was probably like 32 or something.
42.
42?
42.
Oh, yeah.
42, 32, 22.
So your Schwinn got a ride on a C-130.
It actually got a ride on a boat and then a C-17 to get to us. And I put the tires on it, and then I rode it back to the office where that was going to be our office, and I kept it there, and I would go for bike rides in the evening around the airfield. So the airfields, I'm not going to get into all that because I could describe this for hours. Anyway, you could leave from where our office was, and there was these roads along the flight line that you could go on and go around the end of the airfield and go around the backside. And the backside is where all the TCNs lived. So we called them third country nationals. They were all the contractors. They did all the support work. They did all the logistics support. They did all the security for the actual gates around the perimeter of the airfield. And I'm out there riding one night, and I hear the rocket alarms go off. So I'm on the far side of the, and I'm recording everything with like a Sunto watch. I think it was a Sunto watch at the time. And I would record it, and I had just discovered Strava, and so the stuff would get loaded up in Strava.
It was invented then.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was.
It's like 2008, 2009. It was invented. I think.
I might have even been loading at the time to like.
It was beta.
Maybe ride with GPS. It doesn't matter. They eventually were. All those rides eventually got ported to Strava. I think because I sat down one night because I'm a data nerd. So I'm like, oh, I'll just move them all over. And so I moved them all over. Anyway, so I'm riding out there. I'm on the far side of the airfield, and I hear the rocket alarms going off. And the first thing that goes through my head is like, oh, I'm fine. The rocket alarms on the other side of the airfield. They're always shooting at that side of the airfield. And it must have been 2 seconds, and I heard an explosion, and it was close. But the reason I knew it was close is that when you hear a mortar or a small rocket like that go off, there's like a dual concussion. So the first one is with the explosion where the shock wave goes out, but because it's not a super powerful explosive, but if you're close enough to it, you're going to get hit with shrapnel.
Yeah.
It immediately collapses back in. So it's almost like a thunderclap, but it's like
It sucks the oxygen out.
Yep,
and then pulls it back.
And then it pulls back in. And I heard it, and it was like those two were almost on top of each other, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna die." And then I heard another one, and then I heard another one, and then at that point, I'm still not like stopped, and I haven't gotten off the bike, and I just rationalized to myself, if I keep moving, they can't hit me.
And at that time, if you got killed on a Schwinn, it wouldn't have been that embarrassing.
No, it wouldn't have, because that was a legit bike. I had the S20.
Schwinns were dope then.
It was, and that was when they were still owned by Schwinn. And here's the best part: I had the S20, and I felt bad that in my poverty in the late '90s when I wasn't in the Army, I had bought the S20 because I couldn't afford the S40, which had a lockout rear shock. I did not have a lockout rear shock.
Hey, a lockout?
Had a lockout on the S40.
I don't remember that.
Yep. I mean, I think it was a complete mechanical lockout. Of course, nothing like today. But here's the funny thing: it had one of the early rock shocks. I think it was a Judy. I'm almost positive it was a Judy. It was like one of the early ones. It might have been the first version of it. I never rebuilt that shock. So it was
probably elastomer. It was good. It was good to go.
I never did. Yeah, I never did.
Judy
anything.
butter.
I never did anything to it. And that thing, it worked great. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. And I ended up leaving that thing in Afghanistan. And when we left, because it was, I did zero maintenance to it for the whole year. I probably rode it 30 or 40 times across a year. I didn't ride it that much.
That's how you know sand is fine.
Yep. It's where I learned to ride on sand. It actually wasn't as sandy as it was rocky. It was just like gravelly rock. I mean, I was rocking gravel before.
Would you rather have a fat bike or a full suspension in Afghanistan around the Air Force Base?
Probably a fat bike. Honestly.
So sandier than rocky.
Yeah. I mean, it was a mix of sandy rock. I think a full sauce. Here's the thing: a full sauce would be an absolute waste of time. That was completely flat. There was no terrain. There was no. I wasn't riding on trails. I was essentially just riding around on dirt roads. It was just an excuse.
So gravel bike.
Yeah.
With 2.25s or 55s.
2.4 with full suspension.
I'm sorry. I only speak one language.
Anyway,
English, damn it.
So then we're having this. So actually, what happened was in the late teens, there was a base that was occupied by elements of JSOC in the middle of I think it was the Jordanian desert. And somebody found it in Strava. There was a heat map. Like there was this spot in the middle of the Jordanian desert. There was like hot AF because you had all these operators. Like you had all these Delta and these SEAL Team 6 guys running. They were out there on runs. And if you could find their runs, they were probably running like 3-minute kilometers. I mean, they were probably just smoking. These guys are in amazing shape. But you could see where they were running. Well, it's this one hot spot in the middle of the desert. I wonder why that is. Oh, that's where we hide our JSOC guys. And so they all get in trouble. And when this whole thing goes down, I went home that night and I was like, God, I don't want to do this. I deleted every single ride, every single run that I had ever done.
Didn't even happen then.
No, didn't. not on Strava, it's not real.
Dang.
Man,
So
I was
at this point,
wondering-
I'm just telling stories, and everybody's like, "This dude's so full of shit."
I was wondering if missile alarms are going off, hearing explosions. Did you KOM that ride home? Like that's what I wanted to know.
I should have gone and made a segment. I should have curated my own segment.
And then name it something good, like Rocket something or.
I would have called it Rocket Man.
Rocket to the base.
Mortar to chow hall. Oh my god.
Hanging out with the Kenyans. I mean, literally. I mean, all of our seriously, all of like the vast bulk of our third country nationals that staffed the dining facilities on the Kandahar airfield. There were 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did they run past
There's
you while you were riding?
No, they were.
Could they
were,
run faster than you could ride?
I bet some of them could. No, they would all. When I would ride, I remember this. They'd stand out, standing in front of their CHUs, containerized housing units. So it's like 20-foot shipping containers turned into like a bedroom, basically. And they'd stand in front of this thing, just smoking cigarettes, watching me go by, and they'd be laughing at me, like I was just insane. I just didn't care because I was riding a bike.
All right. We need 2 orders of business here. 1, you've been asked to sing a song. 2,
Oh, boy.
Kellen needs to do us out after Andy sings his song. So as soon as he's done singing, count us out,
he can
and
sing us
I
out.
will clear out on the outro. Because we're at an hour and 45 minutes, and I want to hear this man sing.
I am not singing Blood on the Risers because you don't want to hear it. I mean, if you think I got a face made for radio, dude, I got a voice made for never singing anything.
I mean,
Also, I would
worse
tell
is
you-
better on. Like,
I would have to.
did you hear our intro?
I would have to look it up. I mean, glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.
Just hum it.
So it's actually to the tune of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, and it's like glory, glory, hallelujah, what a hell of a way to die.
Can you get
Yeah.
back from the mic and sing that louder?
Yeah, hang on a second.
Make sure
Oh,
you
I
back
got
off as you like project your vocals
I
because
got it.
I feel like this is important.
it. I gotta look up Blood on the Riser. I don't remember all the lyrics anymore. Although, you know, it's funny, they used to, in the morning at Fort Bragg, they would play it from all the loudspeakers in the division area. So we'd line up, it'd be like 6:27, 6:28.
It's like
we'd be
mid-afternoon in my life.
standing in formation. A.M.
That's mid-afternoon in my life.
Right on. Okay, I get where you're going. We'd wait, and then they would play the national anthem, and we'd stand, salute the flag, and then because it was division area, they would then play Blood on the Risers, and we would take off on runs. We'd go for like 5-mile runs at like 7-minute pace, and yeah, that was like 3 days a week. Because if you're in the 82nd Airborne Division, you can't do a push-up, but you can run for days.
Less excusing and more looking up. And while he's looking up, I will say you should join the League of Michigan Bicyclists. If you can afford to donate, please do. If you cannot afford to donate, just join and be a number and help the cause. It will help all of us in the long run. I feel like that is an important soapbox to stand on.
It was lmb.org.
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
lmb.org. Yeah, we are proud owners of one of the 3-letter URLs.
Craig, did you see the last comment in the chat?
I did. Ryan, it was not a Taylor Swift cruise. It was a standard cruise.
All right,
And
where
we were,
are
in
these
fact,
lyrics?
We were the youngest people on that ship. It was eye-opening. Everybody who's made enough money to go and enjoy it, their bodies aren't quite enjoying it as much as their brains.
That means you're doing well in
So,
life.
yeah,
If you're on that
go-
cruise and you're the youngest, you're doing well.
The message is, Taylor Swift or not, go out and do cool shit right now while
well-
you can.
Ryan, I appreciate that you're back with us because it was a little lonely without you. I mentioned you on 2 past episodes that I got crickets back.
He's becoming a bit of a legend in the comments section.
Wait till people meet him on the Taco Bell 100 that he's about to do.
And then after that, you'll have him on the show. I mean,
He's been on the
He's been
show.
on the
has he?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, bring him back. I mean,
Guest suggestion. He was a great, fun time. In fact, I met some really cool people in Chicago the other day when I drove down there. And I suggested his episode as one I felt the vibe of the people were super cool, and I'm like, man, you're gonna love this episode. It's all over the place, but it's wholesome and wholehearted, and there's passion in it. So that's the best episodes. Wholehearted and passion. Oh, we're about to sing.
So
Do you need music?
it would probably be helpful because I don't actually
I don't know how
remember
to do
the
it,
music.
so
well
you
to
just
the
gotta do
first-
it.
Well, we can jerry rig it.
I'm gonna read. I'll just read you the first verse. No, we'll get to that. So it starts out. The lyrics are great, right? It's all about.
We're not
jumping
rapping.
ahead.
You're singing.
No, it's all about.
You're about
jumping
to speak them, and we're not speaking.
ahead. All right.
Are you ready?
We got it. Glory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. Gory, gory, what a hell of a way to die. And he ain't gonna jump no more.
Is there more?
Oh, it goes on for like 5 minutes. It goes on for 5 minutes. He was just a rookie trooper, and he surely shook with fright. He checked off his equipment and made sure his pack was tight. He had to sit and listen to those awful engines roar. You ain't gonna jump no more.
Man. What a way to end it.
Well, there you go. Singing the outro.
Plug yourself real quick, Andy, before Kellen counts us out.
All right. Hey, everybody that's listening, lmb.org. If you are a cyclist in the state of Michigan, please be a member. Consider donating what you can. A monthly donation is a lot more helpful to us than a single once-a-year donation, but we'll take anything because it helps us to do the work we do. If you can't afford a donation, you're still in the peloton. Sign up, take advantage of the advocacy piece, be a part of it. You'll get our emails, and when you're able and when you're ready, you can join in with your support and you can take your turn at the front. The more of you that we have together on this ride, the more effective we will end up being. We are not a tour company; we are actually an advocacy company. So we need all of you.
All right, Andy, thanks for coming on. Thanks for telling us your stories and running the why am I blanking on this? The League of Mountain League.
The League of Mountain Bikers.
Yeah,
There's scholarships available for the Building
man.
Blocks Foundation.
he literally just said it, and I'm over here, idiot.
League of Michigan
Yeah,
Bicyclists.
thanks.
Not unicyclists.
lmb.org
The hat.
/membership.
Thanks for coming on, Andy. Thanks for everyone listening. Remember to like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, all the stupid things. And like always, guys, remember to keep progressing, keep pushing yourself, and have fun. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yep.
That was great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Mike's still-